Hey, this is Mark Davis with Big Water Adventures, and I want to show you a couple of modifications that I like to do on one of my favorite ways to fish, which is butterfly jigs. If you look down, I've got a 5 ounce, this is a 5 ounce and a 4 ounce butterfly jig, and I'm going to show you a couple little tricks. First off, on most butterfly jigs, at least the ones that I like, I don't like the hooks 9 times out of 10, and even if I think the hooks are okay, well, you can see the difference. These are the Gamakatsu's Magnum Assist hooks. These are 8/0. You can see the difference in these things. I mean, it's the difference between night and day in terms of how it's put together. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take a set of these, and it's a very simple process on this 5 ounce. All I have to do is just run the first one through and go ahead and run it all the way through just like that. Double up, go over the top, and pull it down tight and pick a side. What I mean by pick a side is, me personally, a lot of guys fish them with 1. I like them with 2. I like the way it glides better. I like the way it equalizes it out. I like the rate of fall. So I've got the way I like to do it, and here's how I do it. I take the second one and go ahead and run in on the opposite side to balance it out. Gamakatsu's got them pre-measured, got everything ready to go, so all you got to do is just pull that tight. Now, I have a Spro power split ring and about a 230-pound Pro swivel, okay? What I like to do to make life very simple, I go ahead and rig all my butterfly jigs up so that I can tie them on just like any other bait, and I don't have to worry about whether I've got a leader with a swivel. Some guys like running, 6 feet of leader to a swivel. I go ahead and just kill it right at the very beginning. I've got the swivel attached to the bait itself. I found personally it's more effective and it's much more simple. So that's an easy process, and it only took a matter of seconds to do. So when the butterfly jig sails down, both links are the same. It acts as a keel. It makes that thing glide. It's beautiful. Now, what do you do in a situation where you've got a smaller butterfly jig? You think to yourself, very realistically, a giant fish could just as easily eat this, but you've got a smaller hole up top. Well, it's a very simple process. This is actually 60-pound Seaguar thread lock, and all I'm going to do is run that through, and I'm going to take one of these hooks just like this. I'm going to loop it through, and I'm going to go back through with the braid just like that. Now, all I've essentially done is created this right here. So being very careful, because it'll come through relatively easy, I always like to grab the hook and see how that pulls through right like that. Now, the first one you might be able to just stick through. This is a much smaller hole. The first one you may be able to just stick through, but the second one, I know you can't get in real tight right there, but there's pretty much no way in the world that that's going to go through and put 2 of them on there. And since I like running 2, and these are by no means too big of hooks for this size of a butterfly, I do the same thing again. I go back through and I hold it, equalize it out, make sure that I'm not going to snatch it into my hand when I pull. Ask me how I know that can happen. And I'm just going to pull that through, and right like that. Now, the last thing you're going to do on this, just that simple. It's all the way through. I'm going to pull the opposite side. Now, you can tighten these down since I happen to be on a boat, but you can pull on anything. Just take that, tighten those down to give you as much space as you can in between the 2 of them. And then, since Spro is known for having such, quite frankly, the swivels and the split rings, it stuns me that they're rated for what they are, but they are. I mean, this is a tiny, tiny split ring and a tiny, tiny swivel, but it's going to give you just enough room to go in there just like that and go all the way around with that joker just like that. So now you've essentially got 2 butterfly jigs rigged and ready to go. Some guys like to stretch them out like that so that they lay out. Some guys like to have them flared out. But the point is this, the big one and the little one are both carrying very substantial bad Gamakatsu hooks. And I don't mean bad as in no good. I mean bad as in that is the baddest dude in the ocean right there. Whatever that gets hooked onto will come back to the boat. At least the hook's not going to fail, I promise you. So that's the way I like to set it up right there. I keep them in the box rig like that. And if I need to switch, change, big one, small one, doesn't matter what the fish is, I can do it quick.